Okay, and we are live. Just get Keegan here into the mix.
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Friday. Let's see what we can swindle here out of the markets. Check that everything. Mo, just the audio check there. Just want to make sure audio is good. I can almost tell you now the music's maybe a little soft. We'll pump it up a little bit. Alright guys, Friday, let's quickly let's get comfortable. Let's just get that down. Okay.
Chris, you just need to accept Jevin in the waiting room.
Javen's still in the waiting room.
Jay Rizzle.
Jay Swizzle.
Okay, awesome. I'm in.
Okay guys, so let's jump straight into the analysis. Good morning, good morning. Mo, music fine. Laz, morning gents, morning. Yeah, we've got Jevin joining us today. After he sent his birthday signal yesterday, that first got clapped, and then the second one he got lucky, but we thought just due to it being his birthday yesterday, we'll get him on the stream today as well. He told me he saved all the banger trades for Friday, so we'll see what happens in terms of the analysis and the trades. But yeah guys, welcome. Friday, I think this week was actually, in terms of moves, in terms of our analysis, I think it was not a bad week. It actually shows you that if there's volume in the market, you can actually do well. Just going to start off with the disclaimer. Please note that these streams are purely for educational purposes only and for entertainment. This is not financial advice. Please seek advice from a financial advisor before making any financial decision. You will lose money if you follow what we do on the streams, and therefore please take care and careful consideration of your own trades. So with that being said, disclaimer out of the way, Friday, and I'm going to start off with the economic calendar. I think Keeks mentioned very light today. Yeah, actually not much. We've got some inflation figures coming out of Europe at 11, mid-tier folder. So just something to monitor. But other than that, nothing for the dollar. And pound, we've had some retail sales this morning, all negative, lower than expected. So obviously showing a slowdown in the UK economy. But starting off with the dollar, we had quite a good run. We were bullish on the week. Yesterday we closed week bearish, still closing above this area though. Also due to the fact that it is Friday, I will be very careful to consider continuation buys on the dollar. But however, we need to trade what we see. I'm going to go with a bearish bias on the day while we stay below the daily pivot. Also this flat body support area. So 103.36, while we stay below that, I will be bearish. Actually just pop a text there for us, bearish below pivot. and that is what I will be looking at for today. Potential reversal plays on the dollar counterparts, and to maybe see some reversals and corrections into the day. So it's going to mark out Asia lows and Asia highs, and then we can continue on to the next. Gold, as expected yesterday. Remember we mentioned that if you looked at gold, I just want to quickly get this toolbar out there. So remember on gold yesterday guys, we mentioned that yesterday's closure, no, it was not yesterday's closure, the day before, Wednesday's closure was the first candle to actually close below this area of prior support. So looking all the way left, this was our first daily candle in almost, 3-4 months that closed below that area. And after that closure yesterday, very deep pullback back into that range, 1905, and 1905 has been a key level since Tuesday. Myself and Keegs, I think from Monday, Tuesday, we mentioned 1905 being the key level, and nothing changed yesterday as well, that zone there being quite key. On the day, we cannot yet be bullish, but however, it is Friday. We've had 4 days of decline, and we could potentially be in a range today, or we could have a deeper pullback to again go and actually retest that 1905. So going on the lower time frames, let's quickly see where we are. So accumulation distribution still showing a lot of bearish momentum to the downside, but I do feel if we can start trading above the Asia highs, we can get a deeper pullback to the upside. And for me personally, Fridays, as you know, I've mentioned, if you've missed the crux of the move during the week, Friday you are a little bit late to the party to try and jump on the trend. Very likely we'll get reversals or consolidations, so please keep that in the back of your head. So currently trading around the pivot, daily pivot, and let's see, I think higher probability buys would be above Asia high, but if the 80 starts flipping to the buy side and we're trading close to the pivot or even close to the Asia lows, buying opportunities. Other than that, it is still looking bearish. We can't deny the fact that it's still looking bearish. USD ZAR, I'm bearish on the day. We've actually had 2 days worth of reversals. Just want to show you guys the daily chart. Well, not 2 days, we had 1 day. And this for me, I classify as a fake out. So you'll see we've broken out. We've retested on that daily, very deep retest. And we failed to continue higher. And yesterday we closed back inside of the range. So no buys for me. I was bullish on the week, I was bullish yesterday, but for me personally, this is a fake out back into the range, and I would want to see it go lower. And we're already testing Asia lows. Let's see what happens at these lows, but ultimately for me, not going to consider any buys on USD ZAR this morning. I would be purely looking for sells. The 80 is a little bit clapped. If you look at that, still trading around the 200. So I would like to see it come below the 200 moving average. And then from there, I can start looking for my selling opportunities. GBP USD, bullish on the day, bearish on the week though. And as mentioned, data came out quite weak. We've already traded away from the daily pivot as well as the Asia lows. And let me just quickly mark that out. So I'm going to jump back to the daily time frame just to look at what we've got on the day. So remember yesterday, go back on the streams when we did the analysis early in the morning. I told you guys I was looking at that potential daily wick fill, which we had. We've got another wick to potentially fill, but this area yesterday acted as resistance. But I am gonna go with a bullish daily bias while we remain above yesterday's low. So for me, if we start breaking below 12700, I would not be looking for buys any longer. But while we're staying above 12703, that zone, I am going to see if we can potentially get into some buys. Also, I need the 80 to start flipping bullish. It's currently still bearish, but let's see. So I'm going to go with bullish on the day. Pound yen. Also yesterday, remember I mentioned that closing like this, where price closes on its high, very low probability of a continuation up, and there we had the bearish candle. I think I still mentioned yesterday could have been the first red day in a while, and we had that. So quite an aggressive retrace. I'm bearish on the day. This thing has already moved quite a bit away from the Asia lows. Also starting to show some bearish pressure on the AD as well, the accumulation distribution. And let me just quickly mark out our zones. So I would say if we are going to continue bearish, retest of the Asia lows, that is an area of contention for potential continuation to the downside. Or if we start trading back inside of the Asia range, very likely that we could continue up to retest the Asia highs, but already had a nice little retest there early this morning on the Asia lows. Everything is pointing bearish, but let's see. Haven't really touched GJ this week purely due to the fact we were so extended. UJ, exactly the same analysis as on GJ, also breaking Asia lows. 80 however on UJ is still not yet 100% bearish. As you can see there, we trading around the 80. So very likely similar to what I mentioned yesterday with the Asia lows that were here. I mentioned that we can get a breakdown lower, a retest. That was your retest, 11:05, and it continued lower from there. So potentially look for the same scenario to play out today, where we extend lower on the Asia range, below the Asia range, and then come back Asia lows, and then for potential continuation sell on UJ. Last two pairs quickly want to run through is Nasdaq. As mentioned yesterday, we were bearish. We are now currently trading at a potential support zone. I would not necessarily look for buys as of yet, but 3 days of decline. I actually thought yesterday could potentially be like a range day. As I mentioned, if you just go and look back, 2-3 days worth of drop pullback, 2-3 days worth of drop pullback. So could Friday be the pullback? Usually Friday is quite bullish for US indices. I don't know if the guys are just fairly jolly about the week, but Fridays are usually bullish for indices. So bearish on the day. I was bearish on the week, this entire week. Still a lot of bearish momentum looking at the AD, and currently I would say very difficult at this stage to look for any buys, but also not keen on any sells. So I'm just going to let it simmer a bit. we'll come back to it. Nothing clean as of yet for me. But if we start diverging on the 80, we can maybe get a pullback play today. And same with US 30. Go back on yesterday's analysis where we mentioned, actually I think it was Wednesday, Keegs, where we mentioned that this was the first closure below here as well, also a range breakout. And if you go back on the streams I mentioned, we can come all the way back to retest this previous area of resistance and potentially be support now. So let's see, bearish on, I was bullish for the week. I also mentioned there was divergence between US 30 and Nasdaq, but looking on the 5, also 80 still showing a lot of bearish pressure. If you look down, still pointing down, and I'm just gonna mark out our Asia high and our Asia low. That's the analysis, guys. I'll start setting some alerts now. Keegs, over to you. If there's anything you want to point out before the open.
I must say, funny enough, I was going to mention the US 30. I actually was looking into it again a bit, and I actually was going to point out to you I could see a possible flip coming in that 34,500 area. So yeah, it's definitely an area to watch out for. So we're just going to have to see and be patient with what happens there.
Yeah, it's like yesterday. If we can start, let's say for instance, trading lower, but our 80, you guys can't see it quite that well because it's so low. But if the 80 starts trading back above the 200 and we start flipping around, and we can get some divergence buys, which is a very high probability play. It's similar to the sells I took yesterday during NYSE. I'll show you guys now what I traded yesterday. And actually just before we left the office, I still mentioned to Keegan, I'm looking to sell. So yesterday we were trading higher, making higher highs, but on the accumulation distribution, here you can see the divergence on it. So while we were trading close to the highs, all the time the 80 was trending lower, making lower lows, and also trading below the 200. So that's why yesterday, before we left the office, I told Keegs, as soon as this candle closes, I'm going to start looking for shorts. I stacked a few shorts here. I caught this little breakout to the downside, and this candle here actually got stopped out at break even. I entered a short here yesterday. I showed Keegs right on that candle. It was Asia highs. Just want to show you that's where the Asia high was yesterday. So once we closed back below the Asia high, I entered on this candle basically there. And once this candle closed, I moved stops to break even because it was like 10 past 5. I had quite a long day, so literally pipped me out, and then from there it died almost 100 points, and it actually gave you a retest. There was a retest again of the Asia highs to just continue dying like 300 points from there. And I actually had an entry here as well. I showed Keegs, but I only grabbed like, what was it, 30 points? Yeah, 40 points, but not gonna be greedy. So yeah, still looking bearish, guys. I'm gonna wait for some divergences to start playing out on the accumulation distribution. Other than that, we wait. Give me the plays, guys. What are we trading today in the chat? What are you guys looking at? Send a chart. If you want us to share some analysis, give me some plays in the chat. Can you explain the AD more for us, Chris? New indicator for me. Surely, Laz, will do. So the AD is basically your accumulation distribution indicator, and I use it in conjunction with the 200 period moving average on the AD. I actually just changed this color. This blue is not really great. Let's make it a white. So what you need to look out for in terms of the AD is that if your accumulation distribution is above the 200 period moving average, it's showing buying momentum coming in, accumulation. So I trade that with my buy. So if I'm bullish on the day, I want the AD to also be trading above the 200 to show me that there is buying pressure in the market. And vice versa, if it's trading below the 200, it's showing bearish pressure in the market. But again, as I mentioned, you can almost use it like some would use the RSI, where let's say, for instance, this is your 200 period moving average on the AD. And let's say, for instance, your AD is doing something like this below the 200 period moving average. But your price is actually printing something like this, where it's making higher highs and higher lows. So there's a clear divergence that the AD is showing actually this move up is fake, and you can actually start looking for sell opportunities. Like I mentioned yesterday with US 30, we first caught the buys. It's maybe actually a good idea to go back to US 30 and explain the analysis behind it. So yesterday, Keegs was here in the office as well, where we spoke about the potential plan for US 30. So Asia highs, let's quickly run through it. So at the open, this was the candle that we had, 525. I told Keegs, once this closes bullish, we're going to execute buys, because if you look at your AD, let me just see if you guys can see the AD. You can, if you go on your AD and you check here, we were trading above the 200. All the while we're trading above it, we traded back above the Asia highs. And even though I was bearish on the day, I was expecting a move closer to the pivot. So we executed on this candle, closed. I think we almost stop wicked it, but very close to that. I closed out, and then from there I waited to see whether we're gonna get above the daily pivot, which we failed to do. And then after that, I mentioned that I was looking for sells, and after we had this minor break of structure here on this candle, I stacked 3 trades at the close of that candle, a little bit up and then on the 50%. And the reason for that is that we failed to continue higher from here. So I already saw that we are trading back below the 80, below the 200. We failed to make a higher high, and we're starting to see some potential resistance closer to the daily pivot. And that is why I did not seek any further longs, and all of my positioning after this move up was short. And then grabbed a few pips down here. I think it was my average position, like 30-40, a 1-to-1. And then after this bearish engulfing again here, I entered on that candle close, and then I entered on this candle close here as well. But last, that is the crux of the AD. I'll see if I can find some YouTube videos, but I think that's pretty clear in terms of the AD. Morning Nila, gaan het my maat?
Yeah, I must just say I might actually look at a potential trade on EJ. Purely for the fact we had that little bit of a pause in all the bullish momentum, and we've actually come low enough down to previous weekly high area. So if we can find a bit of support in this zone, maybe a nice candle closure above 158 again, I'll start possibly looking at going long with that.
EJ, I just want to quickly grab it here on my side. Okay, let's quickly... Keeks, feel free to annotate on my screen if you want. Let me just... There on Zoom there's that annotation tool. Just let me know what time frame you want. You're talking about that breakout level. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can maybe get a nice level of support there, I might look at going long there.
Also the round number, so institutional level 158. Yeah, good spot there. Let's just quickly see what the daily is doing. But you don't trade EJ a lot, eh?
No, not really. It's one of the like 6 pairs I do trade, but yeah, not often.
Only when there's a good setup.
That's just gotta be patient and wait for those beauties.
Yeah, weirdly enough on EJ, the 80 is trading very close to the 200. We've already broken below Asia lows. And I almost want to say, like, even if we spike again into the zone, let's call this the breakout level. This is the breakout level Keegan mentioned. So I would actually say the ideal is if we start trading below this, the 80 starts flipping to the upside, and then once we regain this breakout level 158, very nice potential buying opportunity. Or the riskier play but it's literally like 3 minutes to the open, so I would say wait for that 15-minute shuffle. They could potentially manipulate around this level a bit.
I was gonna say, Chris, maybe go to your 1 hour chart quickly on Euro Yen.
Just jump to the 1 hour, yeah. 1 hour, yeah.
Okay. Can you maybe just adjust the screen a bit? Okay, go back to the 4 hour. I saw it the 4 hour. I think I saw it in the 4 hour.
Yeah.
My bad. What you guys refer to here? That EMA at the bottom around 157,600, is that a 50 EMA?
I think that's actually the 50, eh?
Okay, I was gonna say be mindful of there could be an ID 50 trade that takes place at that zone. There's also institutional zone there as well.
Sorry, that's the 100.
Is the 100? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
That's the 100, and then this is the 50. That is the 20.
Okay, perfect. No, it's okay.
Was so Javon, jy refer na potentially hierdie level hier, even by die 50, ja.
So just be mindful of that as well. And so be very careful if entering that level. So wait for confirmation.
Keeks, you're gonna have this on the watch list for us, eh?
Yeah, I'm gonna be paying close attention to this one.
Okay, right. Open in 30 seconds. Let's see what we've got. DXY at the Asia highs, also session highs. Gold chugging around the daily pivot. USDs are also back inside of the Asia range.
I was also just keeping in mind with that EJ trade, I don't think it will be a game changer, but obviously we do have that Euro news at 11 o'clock.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Laz, I think, but the BOJ have been doing those stealth interventions like the entire year. I think it only happened like 3 times, but BOJ have been intervening in the market. USD JP.
Actually,
sorry, yeah.
yeah, I was actually also looking at that now. Even GJ is doing pretty similar now. Also, quite a bit of a strong retest area. It's been quite an influential breakout zone in the past as well. So if you're looking at like 184, 700, 750. GJ.
GJ. Oh yeah, it's very close to this 185. To be honest, trading yen pairs for me, as of late, has been pretty cuck. I'm not gonna lie. Well, not really cucked. Like there's not setups that I'm comfortable with. Like even GJ yesterday. Look how choppy this thing was. But Neil would attest that Neil, that's also on the stream. And for the guys that also trade my strategy, Neil, this is the A plus setup, like your 90% trade where your pivot. Kiggs, I also think I mentioned this to you. I was so oblivious to this yesterday, where your daily pivot is below the Asia lows, your AD is trading above the 200, and this setup right here is literally your class setup. Neil, did you see this? I actually did not see this, but Neil who's traded with me as well has seen how beautifully this plays out. It's very rarely that you get it, but if you get it, almost want to say 90% hit rate on it. Hi Jeremy, yeah, good to have you on the streams, man. Appreciate you guys for joining. Please note we don't sell anything except likes for the stream, so feel free to like and subscribe. We really appreciate the support. We've got some very cool plans for these sessions. Thank you so much. The next step is gonna be to get Keegan here in the same office as me. We actually just need to build onto the office because Keegan is quite a bit of a human tank, so just to create some space for him, I'll maybe need to go with like a single screen setup. No, but the idea is to actually have us both here in the same office, and then to have like a camera view from the top. So let's say if both of us are talking, and then to also have the ability for him to share his screen as well on the stream, so we can flip between it. And even Javon trades a different style to us. So let's say, for instance, if I'm not seeing anything or there's no trades that I'm going to execute, and Keegan wants to execute, for instance, on a trade, then we can flip the action to his screen. Or if Javon is going to take a trade. So we've got quite a bit of ideas that we still need to implement, but the biggest thing is just getting started, and we'll take it from there. Jeremy, are you still in Port Elizabeth or are you in Cape Town? I believe you mentioned that you were in Cape Town. Giovanna, feel free to share a setup if you see one.
Will do. I'm actually looking at Euro USD right now. I see it just broke the Asian lows. About to just do some analysis, and if I see something, I will update you.
Perfect.
Yeah, we want those AAA grade setups.
Yeah, please. The guys are hungry in the chat. They want to go full margin and we can't be blowing accounts here. Potentially from next week, Laz will also be joining us. Richard Lowry in the chat. He's paid quite a big lump sum to get onto the streams. But money talks, bullshit walks. So Laz, as soon as that check clears, you'll get your spot on the Zoom. But yeah, Laz has also been trading Richard Lowry. He's a triathlon coach. And how we started years ago was he coached me when I still did triathlons. And then never knew he traded. And then he told me he traded as well. And yeah, it's been quite a journey. Laz, how butterscotch lattes aren't you? How long have you been trading, Laz? I think you've also been trading for almost like 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Or it feels like 5. Yeah, plus minus 5 years.
Yeah, just had a quick laugh now. I was like, you know what, maybe I need to get myself back in the NAS and US City game.
Yeah.
Like, just to show you how I haven't traded this so long. I went on the charts now, and it's got all my old markings and annotations from when I still used to trade it.
But it's weird how once you went to the funded route, we didn't trade it. Like, I think it's due to the fact that it's so volatile, and you almost want something that reacts a little bit more.
I think for me the biggest thing was like actually because I started using that FX calculator to get those percentages like perfect what I'm risking and manage my trades. But funny enough, I can never work out the exact percentages for US City or NAS.
The issue with US 30 is like, for instance, I only use a 40-point stop. But there are times where literally your 5-minute candle, one 5-minute candle is like 60 points. Then how do you use a 40-point stop? Because your stop's literally going to be within a 5-minute candle. Guys, I'm monitoring UJ here, and I'm actually going to set an alert. If we're going to get some, like a structure break here to the upside, I'm going to potentially execute on a long. Going with that idea also, as Keegs mentioned, EJ. So 145.38, that's my alert. So if we start trading above that, I'll start looking for some longs.
So on my side, I'm looking at gold and Euro USD once again today. I showed keys earlier, what I'm expecting on gold. I actually want them to break the Asian highs and go more or less to around 1898, 50, more or less around there. But also there's a zone, starts more or less at 1897.50-ish, but we'll see once it trades into that box, wait for pattern, and then look to go short, because I do believe that based on what happened yesterday, they will still induce people to go short, but I don't think they will take out yesterday's low. So then we could potentially trade from there towards the Asian lows again. And then on Euro USD, I actually think Euro USD might take out yesterday's lows and go all the way to about 1.08350-ish, 400-ish.
Okay. Yeah, Euro USD for me is bearish as well. Just marking out the Asia low. We're also trading below the daily pivot. I do feel if the 80 is still trading below the 200 and we get a deep retrace all the way back to 8820, this zone right here, we could potentially start looking for shorting opportunities. But other than that, the risky sell would be the Asia lows, because look at all of this displacement. You're basically selling almost at the session lows, which is a lower probability trade. So I would also wait for a deeper pullback on Euro USD. In Cape Town, brother, but missing home, looking to live between the two cities. Yeah, Quebec, different to the rest of South Africa. And how's the trading been going, Jeremy? I know you we're experimenting with some groups and some mentors. It's just IG client sentiment showing that retail is 83% short. Yeah, net short on EJ.
Yeah, when I was looking at those things earlier, and I was just actually looking at that momentum that's coming down, I was like, it's not seeming to slow down a bit. But interesting enough, gold trying to regather some strength though, as it's failing to even get close to the Asia lows again.
Yeah, it's holding a daily pivot quite well. So I do feel that if we start getting above the Asia highs, this 1895 level, this is where we could potentially start looking for a move up back to the 1900s as mentioned.
Must say, looking at Nas again still. Funny enough, if this was like the old me, Nas would have been in such beautiful flip zone right now.
To flip long.
Yeah. So you've actually got a lot of weekly resistance coming in this bigger zone, but when you start breaking down to the smaller time zones, even your 4 hour and your 1 hour, you've in the past received very, very strong support here. If you had to draw basically a little box at, let's say, 14710, that would be the top of it, where you've got your 4 hour support, moving the box to the lower side of just 14690, and then you start bouncing off daily EQs as well. So it really starts forming a nice bit of support area for it.
Yeah, I'll be very reluctant to sell indices on a Friday, especially after like 3 straight days of decline.
But as you say, these were like the days where you used to flip accounts and do these crazy things where you want those sniper entries. And
we actually, from the start of the week, from Tuesday, from Tuesday's high to yesterday's low is almost a 3.9% drop on Nasdaq, which is quite big. That is not a small move. Could you explain how you would view the Asia range with the AD on GBP JPY time frame? Let me just jump to pound yen. Also, guys, the Asia range I use is basically from 1 o'clock our time, South African time, GMT +2, to 6 o'clock in the morning. So that 5 hour period, that is what I use as my effective Asia range. And what Laz is asking me is, so Laz, we already broke structure to the downside on GBP JPY. Around about 8 o'clock, before that news hit, we rejected the Asia lows. The 80 is showing bearish momentum. As you can see, we're trading below the 200. So all the while, even from here, once we tested the Asia lows, we were trading below the 200. There was your retest. So again, if we come back to Asia lows and we start rejecting again, then we can still continue lower, because remember, the thing is, once we make a session high low and we start retracing, very high probability we can either come back to retest it to find support to create like some sort of W formation, or what could potentially happen is you could come back to break the session lows to continue lower and then later on retest it. So always remember that with sessions, not always, but very likely, if you create like a daily high and you start retracing somewhere along the day, we're going to come and retest those highs again. So same with sells. Also remember, if London trades lower, for instance, and from 12 o'clock our time we start retracing, do not consider that now to be a reversal. Once the NYSE traders get back on board, they're going to try and go for the same momentum, because nothing really changed, say, from London into NYSE. If there's no new information available to the market, whatever the London traders were seeing in the market, the New York traders most probably are going to see exactly the same thing once they come online. So that is one thing that you guys do need to realize in terms of trend. Establishing your daily bias, establishing your trend in London session. So going back, looking at what London did, and then trying to continue that move for NYSE. DXY failed at the Asia highs, coming back to the daily pivots, so going to be interesting to see what we do here. Gold also consolidating around the daily pivot. Again, as mentioned, for me personally, I think if we can start trading back above 1895, that is only where I would start looking for longs. You can start looking for longs here potentially if you think there's a pullback in play, but this for me is the riskier play due to the fact that the accumulation distribution is still below the 200. But in all honesty, safer, higher probability play 1895, and then we can start seeing a move up. USD JPY as mentioned, if we can start trading back above the Asia lows and actually start breaking structure back into the Asia range, then I would start looking for buy opportunities. But now looking at the 80, we're starting to flip bearish as well. So no bueno on the buys as of yet, but just monitoring it. We've got our alerts set. And then EJ, this is that breakout level we mentioned. Again, higher risk play here from this round number, but if we can hold the round number at 158, next area would be the Asia lows, and safer entry would be from the Asia lows. You maybe miss out on 20 pips, but you are then more sure of your position in terms of it coming to retest these Asia highs and potentially even go and test the weekly highs. The way that the yen crosses have been trading, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and take out the weekly highs. Go look at pound yen last week. If you go and look at pound yen last week on the weekly, just want to show you guys. So pound yen last week literally started off at that was on the close of the previous week, and literally traded through almost a 5-week range. This was like a 5-week range it traded through in literally one go. And I think it was Thursday, Friday where the momentum really started kicking in. So just be aware of that. So the Asia lows and the Asia highs are like key levels for me. And usually what would happen is once you start trading outside of the Asia range, likely price can continue lower, or you get the manipulation. So let's say, for instance, this was the fake out, grabbing, inducing sellers into the market. And once we get back, let's say into the Asia range, then it's very likely that we can now go and test the Asia highs. So think of it as this box. Once we trade outside of the box, we can move away from it. But if we trade outside of it and get back into it, then we can go and test the highs of the session. Jeremy, I'm trying to work on my weakness wrist. This is not construction. I'll hit you up when I'm back home for a coffee 3 weeks time. Yeah, sure. Do it, Jeremy. The offices are at 189 Cape Road, so feel free to pop in anywhere between, I would say, like 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. The only thing is, if you're coming into the office, there's a minimum entry requirement. It's a grande butterscotch latte and a tall oat milk cap. That is the only entry criteria. And we've got quite a few strong guys in the office, and if you come empty-handed, we actually don't open up the office doors.
Our new thing is we have this little ledge where we just like to throw people's cars over.
Yeah, yesterday the one guy, we actually threw his car over the ledge and actually felt bad about it, and then had to pick up his car and get it back on the road. No, we literally had to pick up a car yesterday. I wouldn't mention names, but we had to pick, and it was an SUV as well, dude. It's not even a sedan. It's an SUV. Good morning, Jared. Jared, when I get the chance again to be at gym, I'm definitely gonna come chat to you, man. Definitely when I get the opportunity.
I'm also looking at US 30 on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
Actually, first go to your 4-hour first, please.
Okay, let me go to the 4-hour.
Okay, and then maybe zoom out a little bit. Okay, that's a bit too far.
There's order block.
No. So actually, the low of that order block, if you maybe just mark out the low at that point, you would see that it's kind of equal to this Asia lows, but below it, but just below it, there's a fair value gap, a little bit more to the left.
I see it, yeah.
And then if you put the 50%, well, if you measure it, the equilibrium point of that, price didn't touch that. So seeing that that's kind of equal lows, if people bought there yesterday and they're still holding the trades, that's liquidity. So if market could just sweep that wick, and kind of go to like 34, 405, we could potentially then see US 30 go up. Same kind of pattern on Nasdaq, but Nasdaq looks a bit more risky in that sense because it will break a little bit more below that 50% zone.
Yeah, for me personally, it's still bearish. I would actually like for it to trade lower, as you mentioned, break Asia lows. And while we're breaking lower, I would like for the accumulation distribution to start diverging to the upside. Then this afternoon we can potentially catch some very nice buys for the retrace. But it's still bearish. We failed at Asia highs. Nothing for me. The daily pivot is all the way up here. So for me to sell here as well does not make any sense. I want to sell if I'm bearish, I want to sell as close to the daily pivot as possible, similar to yesterday. I wasn't selling here in the middle of the range. I was actually buying up to the daily pivot. And then once we got close to the daily pivot, I actually would have loved for it to trade into the daily pivot and then reject down, which we didn't get. But ultimately, I just took a punt on it once I saw these rejections close to the daily pivot, which is higher probability for me. So remember, as always, if you're buying, you want to buy as close to the daily pivot as you possibly can. And if you're selling as well, and then your Asia highs and lows, if you're buying, you ideally technically want to be buying below the Asia range. And if you're selling, you ideally want to sell above the Asia range. Jeremy said he's actually going to bring 2 coffee skeeks for you and 2 for me, just to keep his car safe.
Yes, that's classic.
Again, guys, Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 11. Feel free to like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And this is our first full week of streaming. We're obviously improving and tweaking as we go. But ultimately, I think we've got a lot of value to add to the trading community, not just here in Port Elizabeth, but in South Africa. So stay tuned as we grow the channel and do some good work for traders. Okay, DXY bouncing off the pivot. Gold still in this ugly little range around the pivot as well. Honestly, nothing there for me. USDs are very... nothing that excites me there that pops out. GU projecting the weekly pivot level. Also this prior zone. But again... we're quite a bit extended, so not going to look for any sells there. EJ, we're just flunking around this level, and I do feel now if we get back above 158, I would consider some buys. but I would need the accumulation distribution to get above the 200 as well. But the ideal scenario here would be to actually break the session lows and then to get a nice market shift, something like that. That would be your ideal play. Laz, be honest, you are in a trade. I hope you're not in a trade, but I know Laz loves to get some dopamine hits early in the morning. Oh no, it's good. Nothing's actually happened as of yet, and nothing is really clear. So if you are taking a position now anywhere in the market, you're taking it either in the middle of a range or you've got no context for your trade.
Yeah, like for example, I'm just saying, learning from yesterday, markets are a bit choppy in the morning. We're not going to try to force something, for example, with gold. I think this time around, we're literally just going to take it easy, probably relax, and probably only New York session or try to catch that big volume move.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tempted at taking a swing on USD ZAR. Very, very tempted. Only thing is we're trading below the daily pivot, below the moving averages. I am very tempted. What is that? 2 minutes to the close. Let me just check something out here on the 4 hour. But again, as mentioned, the daily for me, this is a daily fake out. Yesterday we did test this previous area of support. We also have this wick fill, so no. That's a cock idea. Laz is saying in the chat he's keen to throw 100 lots on gold. Look, it is teasing to the upside. The 80 is starting to get closer to that 200, but I honestly feel the much safer entry with confirmations is above 1895. So you've got like a $1.5 move up here, which is lower probability, where your higher probability play once we get above the 1895. Again, as mentioned, gold trades within $5 ranges. So for instance, the 1895, the 1900. So you'll see if we hold, like for instance, 1890, if you go back to yesterday, or actually during the Asia session, this is your 1890 level that we held above. And then we'll most probably push to the next $5 move, and there we actually tap perfectly into the 1895. So gold will just move in between these $5 ranges. So you've got very little to squeeze out of gold if you go long here. 1895 It's actually
Yeah, for me, it's your best bet is once you either break that Asia high, or we go right down to the bottom again and retest. But you either looking at Asia lows or Asia highs.
Yeah, this is in the middle of the range. This is literally Asia mid-range. Nothing there for me. USDs are, as mentioned, just above 19. At a very nice bullish engulfing candle here. AD is bullish. As you can see, we're trading above the 200 moving average there on the AD. Almost like some type of double bottom. But after getting clapped yesterday on almost exactly the same setup, we got clapped here yesterday where we took the longs on this 5-minute candle after retesting multiple times on the daily pivot to just get pipped, and then it moved up. So could see the same sequence of events where we trade back into the Asia range to then reject. But any other day I would have liked this, but not really clean.
Just a heads up, so USDT just broke the Asian range, the Asian low, so we'll see what happens when it gets to that zone, whether they hold or they break through.
I rate just for Fridays. I suggest we do full margin Euro CPR.
You're right. On what?
Which was looking more promising.
I've got that podcast fund that I'm running.
I must say Euro USD probably looks a better bet.
Guys, so we've got this, we're calling it the podcast fund, that I started on 1,000 Rand. Okay guys, can't actually see the balance. Let's maybe just pull it across here. So it started on 1,000 Rand. Was it last week? I think it was last week, Thursday. So yesterday got clapped in the morning session. Let's actually just go custom period. Last 3 days. So still up 800 Rand on the week, but yesterday just want to show you guys quickly on this little fund. So we had the gold sales from 1902, that was in the afternoon. I'll go through that now. We had the USD ZAR buys, which we got clapped on, and then for the rest of the session I was trading US30, and basically just brought us back yesterday. But the idea is to see how far we can take this 1k. Thing is, if we get to 100k, we're gonna spend the 100k on camera equipment and lighting and stuff here in the office. So we're not gonna be greedy and try and take it to R1,000,000. I think once the account hits like 10-20k, it's going to become easier to take, say, like 2k risk and not risk the entire account. But
yeah, we just if Chris gets it right, after the 100k, we will officially be changing his Instagram handle to FXChrisG.
FX Chris. Look, it's not impossible. That's how I started. I started with years ago. I started with 3.5k. Actually started trading on plus 500. That's the weird thing. I was trading like oil and stuff on plus 500, and then got got that account to like 12.5, withdrew my 3.5, and then it almost like removed the emotion, because it's like when you're at the casino and you're up say 10, 15k, and you've basically made back your, let's call it your initial risk off the table, then it's just smooth sailing from there. And actually took that account to, I think it was 247,000. But I also mentioned to Keeks there were stages during that period where almost 100% of the account was at risk.
So just a quick update. So I can't annotate on Chris's chart because I'm using my phone, but I'm on the 1 minute on USDT. So currently it didn't touch the zone as yet, but the moment it does go into that zone, once it does touch 34.45 more up until 34.390, I'll wait for a reaction. And then once price actually rises back above 34.440, I would then want to see price then retrace into some sort of fair value gap, and then only I would need to go long once they confirmed. But if they don't do that, then no entry.
So Javon, you actually waiting, so this is the liquidity sweep, then you're waiting for the change of character to the upside, and then if that change of character leaves like a fair value gap somewhere here, you want to execute from that. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Perfect.
So I see it's tapping into the zone now, but I would like it to actually see go to that 50% at exactly 34.45. Now your quote prices might be different based on your broker. The server I'm using is 8cap, and the reason why I'm using that is because that's what most prop firms use, and for those trading prop funded accounts, usually that's what tight spreads. So just keep an eye on price as well.
USD ZAR pumping, as I mentioned, nice little bullish engulfing, 80 above the 200. I didn't execute on it, but solid analysis on that. Guys in the chat, just give me feedback on the music. It's quite loud on my side. Just wanna make sure that everything is sweet on your side.
Just out of interest, I wonder what most people's favorite session is to trade.
Guys, what session do you like to trade? New York or London? I honestly love London because I feel you catch the low, or you're gonna catch basically very close to the low of the day. NYSE becomes tricky when you trading currencies because London's gonna basically almost create the trend for the day, so you're gonna catch a much smaller piece of the move. Guys, I'm cleaning around to the toilet. Monday to Friday, be sure to leave a comment as well, and follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to send a chart in the chat. Be more than happy to look at it. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Your question could potentially help someone else out, so I will be right back. DXY going back to daily pivot. Let's say I think once we break below the daily pivot, get some sort of retest on the daily pivot, and start making our way down to the Asia lows, I think that's when gold will make its move above 1895. Also the 80 creeping up on the 200. So once we get above 1895, we will also be flipping bullish on gold. GBP USD coming back to the weekly pivot as well. USD ZAR, as mentioned, that get a nice little pop to the upside, but again purely due to the fact that yesterday didn't move as expected. I'm just taking cue from that. Laz, feel free to send a chart. I don't criticize, like all of our analysis and everything we do is still purely forecasting, and it's only proven until it's a fact and as it prints. But ultimately all we're doing is making well calculated guesses. There's no right or wrong. At the end of the day, it's all about Last, send me the link on WhatsApp, dude, if you can. I can't see it in the chat. That's weird.
Is there anyone that's actually in trades at the moment?
Anyone taking a trade? Anyone in a position? Let us know so that we can pray for you. We've got some intercessors here that will fervently pray for your position.
Let me see. I don't know. I can't share my view, but I've picked up a critical aspect. There's a $X on the DXY, so it's definitely going to be going bearish for us today.
So I'm actually looking at potentially taking a very small position on USD. It is in my fair value cap right now at this moment. Stop loss below the last wick. So we did have a close. We had two confirmation candles basically in that zone. But I would say stop below the previous low, as it is still risky because it hasn't touched that equilibrium point. However, they did sweep the liquidity, so if they want to make this fast, this could potentially play out now.
Where are you entering, Javon?
So on 8 cap, the entry is 34,431. I actually executed already. I'm in.
Go for the guys that want to.
Going short.
He's going long. So this is the trade that Javon is taking.
I must say I actually backed that.
For me, it's still against my rules, but for the guys that wanna,
I see the image there.
I can also see the setup. Yeah. No pressure, Javon.
No stress.
Can we just get some fist bumps and some flexing emojis in the chat for Javon?
No, it's just like, you got to think of it like this. Your first trade on the live with us, you got to perform or you won't be on the live again.
Yeah, so potentially the last time you'll see CJ swizzle on the stream. But yeah, I see what he's saying. It is the Asia lows. For me personally, still showing bearish momentum. But in terms of how he trades, this is a setup for him. And where would your target be, Javon?
So the first target, first of all, the high of the London session so far. When price reaches that point, most likely take some partials, move stop to break even. TP1 at the high of Asia, and TP2 would be the fair value cap It's also order block at 34,622.
So I would honestly say if this works out, guys, you can easily target the daily pivot at 34,600. Maybe go for 34.80, 34,580, but let's go. Jay Swizzle sending us I think just for some. Okay, actually missed it, but anyway. Or there is actually time to enter. Let me enter this trade with you guys. I want to slap on 10 lots here on US 30. And let's take one for the team here. I wouldn't be greedy though. I think once we get close to these areas here where we actually broke out 34,480, I'll potentially take some off the table.
I was actually about to say the same. The moment like we're up at least like 50 points, can actually move stop loss to break even. So even if we do get stopped out with nothing, like I said, it is a risky trade. So even if it does come back to that point and the same pattern occurs again, but as long as we protect our equity.
I think also we literally spoke about earlier, actually, this whole 34 area. But definitely if this thing starts moving, I honestly could see you guys comfortably running this to about 3,500.
Yeah, I agree. But let's see, as mentioned, for me personally, still bearish, but it is Friday. I did mention that later on in the session, I would want to see us trade back to the daily pivot. DXY is still at the daily pivot. I think once we get below that, we can start seeing some bearish momentum, but up until then, nothing. Gold still in a range. USD ZAR also technically still in a range. GBP USD, nothing there for me. Euro JPY, as mentioned, this 158. This is something that I will monitor. I'm going to wait for Asia lows, for us to regain the Asia lows. My AD would also then start pumping bullish again. We are at that breakout level. Previously, I did mention ideally break lows and then potentially get some type of shift in the market where we break structure to the upside, and that is my idea. So I'm happy to miss out on 20 pips and wait for my setup to play out, but that is the plan.
I must say the only thing I don't like currently about this trade is the way it's moving. I would have liked to actually see it move by now at this point. I don't like it playing around at entry, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, not just with that trade, but a few trades, and I think we've actually had that same problem this whole week, was honestly just giving your trades that time to breathe.
Okay, so I actually added another position on US 30.
Is this on the podcast fund?
This is on the podcast fund, lads.
Oh, Mo, you better be praying, bro.
That podcast could be something of a pipe dream. Lol, I'm holding a gold long trade since yesterday. It's small trade. My feeder risking a very small amount.
Who's that now?
Jeremy in the chat.
From where did he enter?
Where did you enter, Jeremy?
At the flip at the bottom, the 1885.
He's gonna reply now, and then Liam Bushnia, Chris, hope you well. I think it was on Wednesday you mentioned the fact about signals. Is that something you would still be interested to look into? I don't think I mentioned signals. I Did I mention signals?
No, I don't think you mentioned signals per se, but I think we were just talking about how we give these trades on the live. Like you can trade with us, but it wasn't necessarily about signals.
Yeah, no. So the lives are signals. Tune into the lives, and you'll get signals here. Not signals, but all the trades we execute in the office, we share on the lives. So, but no, I'm not gonna sell signals or give signals. Even these streams, like I mentioned, is purely for educational purposes only and entertainment. So if you find value out of them, great. But ultimately, the winners is still on you as a trader. If I analyze something and I give out a trade, you still need to go back and say, look, this is in line with my analysis, or this is not in line with my analysis. You have to take responsibility for your own trades. I share my view, I share my analysis, and Keeks shares his analysis, Javon. But ultimately, it's still on you whether you buy or not.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
At the end of the day, once you pull the trigger, you can't blame us.
Yes. Oh, so sorry. Liam was referring to where we said to get the Kaka signals and take the opposites. So no, we haven't.
Oh.
So nobody has replied with any bad groups. But if you know of any, please let us know. I'm not necessarily going to go and spend time to find a bad group, but if you've
Just,
got...
I mean, out of interest, like the guys in the group, has there been any groups in PE that people have subscribed to signals groups? Not necessarily that they're cuck or they're good, but is there any signal groups I know of in PE?
Yeah, guys, any groups in Port Elizabeth? Please let us know if you are in a signals group in PE. Yeah, Javon's trade, I do think if we can just get a hashtag pump, hashtag blessed, hashtag profits in the chat. Javon is still looking good, dude.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now. Remember yesterday that new system I was building based on the time-based Fibonacci?
Yeah.
So see the pump that's actually occurring now. This current candle is going in our direction. It actually lines up perfectly with one of the lines. So this is also like testing it out. So if these time probabilities are very on point, then you would know exactly what times to trade and would have a much deeper advantage, because okay, it might sound crazy to some people, might sound like a conspiracy, but apparently there's more sessions within the sessions, like smaller sessions with like delivery time and so forth. So if that is so, there could be something, I could be onto here, and if I do crack it, I definitely will share it with you guys.
To be fair, I wouldn't actually say Jeremy is like far off with that, purely because of the base of like when we look at the market and we thinking about things, we literally just looking at price. Chris and I actually had this talk the one day where we're saying as a trader, a retail trader, whatever it is, you actually have no depth into the market about these orders being fulfilled and stuff. So because there's that depth, I do believe to a necessity that there could be a point in that there are sessions in sessions, just on the idea that, I mean, it could take time to get to all those orders. So in a way, I could see like what he's trying to say there.
So I actually have something here. It's called the CLS settlement routine, which is from midnight to 12 p.m. EST. And then the next one says liquidity requirements from midnight 12 a.m. until 1 a.m. Then it says Asian currencies from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then so basically there's constantly liquidity requirements before the market can actually move, and once they actually reach these requirements, I think that's what's going to face on with the price will go up or down.
All right, guys, we are pumping up here. Very nice. So, Javen is not out of the woods yet. Whether we get him back on the streams, but it is looking positive. Thanks so much. It is looking positive. So,
I must say, I think even for now, until the podcast's up and running, I feel like we could actually do that. We could have like guest traders on the lives in the morning.
yeah, we can definitely. I actually want to ask Joan, not Joan, Joan Frohnman, Jay. So I asked Jay. Jay said he's keen to pop on as a guest, and I've also asked Nick. It's another trader friend of mine. He's been actually trading. He's the guy that's been trading the longest that I personally know. It's like almost 16 years. He's from the UK. So he's going to jump on as well in the coming weeks. So he's mostly swing trading. And then, yeah, we can, if you've got anybody that you would like to see on the stream, let us know. We can try and get them on.
Yeah, honestly, I think we could even start, well, for example, bring in some completely different faces, reach out to some of the contacts in Cape Town, Joburg, and really bring some new faces every now and again to the market.
You chat to Carl as well, eh? So maybe with Carl,
like, so
maybe.
Carl, I've got a good friend of mine, Garen from Cape Town. He's just a very, very good trader. So yeah, a lot of these guys can come on.
Guys, I'm actually locking it in. I'm up 1,000K on this podcast fund, so I'm gonna lock it in there. I'm not gonna be greedy. There's still not a lot of room to move on this account as of yet, so we're slowly but surely churning it. Let me just show you guys.
I mean, hey, we're not far from the weekly goal then.
Yeah,
So
and
also just,
sorry, man.
sorry,
we
guys.
still have this afternoon as well. So there's the two positions. So 1,000 Rand up on the podcast fund. So sitting closer to 6 Gs. The idea was to get to 10K this week, and then next week 20, and then marginally start getting closer to that 100K. But Javon, I think let's just give Javon a hand clap there. Jay Swizzle.
yeah, I just want to say to you guys also, modify your stop losses closer to your entry point to minimize risk. And then if you have a bigger account, small accounts could close profit. If you have a bigger account, you could take some partials. So you're still going to be in the trade, not exactly on the entry point, your stop loss as yet. If you can have one more candle close above this new high of this previous 1 minute candle, then I would say we can, move stop loss on entry points. I think we'll be safe from there on for this trade.
Guys, so Jay Swizzle, Jay Rizzle, aka the real J Money, we'll be back next week again. Jay, thank you for that. That just makes up for that big loss I took on gold yesterday. But you did catch the second move, so I can't cuck on Jay Rizzle for. No, very nice trade. Like I mentioned, we're far away from the daily pivot, and I think if anyone is keen, they could leave a potential runner up until 34,580. But other than that, very nice move up. How many points was this? I think this was like 40 points from entry. I basically locked it in right on that candle. Not that I think it's going to reverse, but we've displaced a bit, and we can basically pull back up until here, or even come and retest like this structure to continue higher. So well done. So Jeremy entered at 1889.50 gigs. So that is literally, where's that? 80.89. Basically Asia lows.
Yeah, no, I see that. Okay.
Asia lows, that's where he entered. But yeah, well done to the guys that held. I locked it in there. I think that's 40 points for me, solid. locking it in there. We're actually starting to get above the 200 now on the AD as well, so we could start seeing price push up now. Very good position. USD. Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
I'm just looking at this now again. So looking at fair value gaps and so forth. My reasoning or my understanding behind it is whenever there's a fair value gap or imbalance in the market makers do this to invite more liquidity, basically. And I forgot my words now. Sorry, I forgot my words now. But once I remember, I'll say it again. But it was something to do with oh yes. So what I said about the timings. So if I'm correct about this, and we know these timings, and there are spots where liquidity is being invited, and they need liquidity requirements at those times, and they invite it. It would make sense. Like, yeah, it's difficult to explain it, but once I have everything sorted and once I actually have a clear understanding of it, I'll maybe make a video on it or have a better explanation or find my word.
Rikache, Chris, I loved all your interviews you did with Volt. Yeah, we're trying to bring that back, but obviously just with a much better production in terms of actually doing them in person. But yeah, to get a decent setup, you're looking at around about 100 Gs. So that is what we're aiming for.
You know what I was thinking of now? We could even do here. We could do like an amazing race.
Yeah.
So all of us in the office get a funded account, okay?
Yeah. And
we see who can get it done first. So we don't have to take each other's trades necessarily, but like a little. Let's see who can clap it out the quickest.
We can do that.
Or who's gonna get clapped the quickest. We're just gonna go full margin, risk the whole account on one trade, and just pump it out.
I would actually say amazing race to the first payout.
That would actually, yeah, that's true.
I would say the first payout. See who can get to the first payout. That would be sick to see who can, because passing phase 1, that's not necessarily difficult. Passing phase 2.
No, yeah, you want the account to go live.
Yeah.
I think that's like something we'll see. Like the guys can give us feedback. Like what would be something interesting or entertaining they'd like us to see doing.
Guys in the chat, let me know. I still want to do the full margin Wednesdays where all of us, not all of us, you guys don't have to do it, but us here in the office, put in like a smaller amount and we try and flip it. And why I say Wednesdays, usually Wednesdays, Tuesday, Wednesdays got the most volume in the market. So let me know if that would be something entertaining. NYSE. Double or nothing.
What we can do is like on those special days we can even especially do like even if it's like an hour, but we do this as a hour New York session.
Yes. So let me know. I don't want it to take away from what we're doing here. So obviously Monday to Friday morning sessions we are quite serious about what we're doing. So I want it to be in good sports and in good spirit, where you guys shouldn't think we're fucking around the rest of the week. But on Wednesday, it's just something fun, just to break away from all of the seriousness about trading, because I know, especially as a new trader and especially as somebody that's trying to make it in the industry, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. And just to break away a little bit from that, just have some fun. And yeah, Jeremy's saying let's go full margin Wednesdays. So I think we're gonna work on that. Caitlin should just get Mo to start working on a thumbnail there for us. Keeks, I'm thinking for a thumbnail actually for the full margin Wednesdays, we can actually have you flexing, and that could be our thumbnail.
Flexing with my money bags.
Or you should actually take a photo at gym with like dumbbells, and then we Photoshop like money bags, like almost full margin Wednesdays.
I'm gonna go big or go home.
Yeah, as Laz said, as long as the Oaks only stick to full margin Wednesdays and not full margin weeks, where every day is a full margin day. Yeah, we have to.
I think purely for like, unless the guy's 100% like, you must know what risk you're taking. If you want to join us with that. Otherwise, that's purely like a entertainment purpose. Like, that's a day you watch what we do, but you do not copy us.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we're gonna launch very soon. Maybe next month. We've just got a few things to still do, and then we're gonna introduce full margin Wednesdays. And then we're also planning something else that's gonna launch very soon, guys. I don't want to say too much, but there is something very, very cool that we're gonna launch, and I think it's gonna be a game changer. But stay tuned very soon.
Yeah. You know what we could do is we'll drop a subtle hint every day at the end of the live, or somewhere in the live, to make sure people actually, like, you have to stay on the whole live to see what it's about and see if you catch that hint.
And we're also going to start doing some giveaways very soon. I would say starting next month, during the week, we will be giving away live accounts. And then there's other stuff we're also going to be giving away. And
yeah, if you guys can beat us to the 100k, 1,000 to 100k, Chris will give you his car.
I will give you my car. If I haven't sold it yet. That car has been given away so many times here in the office. That is literally the go-to thing, giving away the car. Keek said if you beat him, he will give his tuned Subaru Scubatarius to that guy.
I'll give you some complimentary earplugs at the same time.
And it's gonna throw in a free intercooler as well, an extra one.
You know what, I'll someone just give you a STR shirt and cap as well, so you can be the proper Subaru Colt.
What did you say your star sign is, Keeks?
A Subatarius.
Oh yeah, I can now remember. Scubatarius. Guys, feel free to leave a like. That's all we ask. We don't ask money. We don't ask for anything else but a like on the stream and a subscribe. Appreciate it. And feel free to share this link with your friends and fellow traders. We trying to build a community here, and the more guys we get on, the better the experience, and also the more we can do in terms of giveaways, in terms of networking. And I like the idea that Keeks mentioned, getting on some guest traders on as well. So after this, myself and Keeks will actually sit down and start contacting
I think we've got our first one sitting in the lounge over here.
Hein van Deventer, hashtag stop losses matter. Hashtags. Hashtag blessed. Yeah, I would love to have Hein on. I've asked him so many times. I'm actually getting a little bit of a complex about myself and the man not wanting to join. So he's actually destroying my self-image a little bit for not wanting to join.
I think he's in a trade. He's too zoned out here. He's watching those TPs.
Ask Han to give us a signal there.
What's the signal? What's the signal? GU longs. Actually, you actually have a set of GU as well.
Is he long already?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's literally a beautiful entry of my area as well. I would have entered 27150 on the dot, and this thing is holding nicely.
Yeah, it's very close to the weekly pivot. For me personally, not yet. 80 is still below, but
Okay. And USD CAD's long.
so let me just go short on both of those. I'm kidding, guys. I'm not that guy. Let me just see USD CAD longs. Let's just see where we are on the daily.
Are you in the trade? Are you? Both of them. Alright. Then I'm gonna buy, bro. Then I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy 0 Bitcoin. Hey Chris, you with us?
Yeah.
We're gonna buy Bitcoin
Where?
at 0.
0? Is that where it's going?
Haven't you looked at it?
Is it?
All the cryptos have been crashing since yesterday.
What, really?
Like badly. I'm not sure why, but they are.
Oh, hectic, I'll check now. Yes. Okay, but yo. Looking on the daily, guys, if you ever wondered whether pivots work, yeah, you can see how on a daily pivot, how price rejected that area. But again, like I mentioned, not to put my strategy on anyone else. Let's quickly look at some alerts being hit here. Euro JPY above that 158. I missed it, guys. It's still not like not missed it. I'm waiting for Asia lows on Euro JPY, and then USD JPY. I'm gonna wait for a retest. So 80.
The other thing is Euro JPY still is at news at 11. So
Yeah.
you are going to get quite close to entries now with the news.
So USD JPY marginally above that 200 moving average. I'm not gonna force anything here. If we can stay above that 200 on the 80, I mentioned that we want to look for buy opportunities. So if we can get something like this, a retest of the Asia lows, I'm going to look for longs. So just be aware of that. USD JPY longs, I'm actually going to reset an alert on 145.33, and we can potentially execute from the Asia lows.
I just want to. Yes.
No, sorry. I actually wanted to give an update on that US30 position. How are you guys looking on that?
We should be, it's moving very slow, close to entry. Stop loss is near entry to partials, but I have a small box here just above the breakout candle. So if it breaks below this box, I'm gonna close. If it breaks above the box, I'm gonna keep on holding. But I want to actually talk about Ripple real quick, XRP. So
wait, let me just get Ripple on here.
Okay.
Let's just get Ripple, XRP, yeah. Let's chat about Ripple.
Okay, so once like Chris also said, the people in the chat is not financial advice, but this is purely based on my beliefs and research. So so there's been a lot of talk about, I don't know if you guys, it goes back to the thing I also said now about the settlements. Now apparently the new currency is going to be used by the bankers. It's actually going to be Ripple. It's called the bankers coin. And like I said, it's currently about 12 Rand per coin. And I actually bought some coins, but I started buying coins way back in May, I think. And last month, just before, the day before my cousin's wedding, Ripple actually shot up 97%. Now it's back to the point where it was, but I mean, that breakout obviously indicated an uptrend, and not just that, if all the other cryptos are crashing, especially like Bitcoin, whenever Bitcoin crashes, it usually rises again. Now, if Bitcoin is going to rise exponentially, it's also going to have an effect on Ripple. And this, in my opinion, this is one of the cheapest coins you can buy right now. And like, okay, this isn't my words. This is what I read in the document. It's already agreed that there's already a set price agreed on Ripple. But as I don't know if how many of you guys know, Ripple is currently facing a lawsuit in the US, whereas they're trying to figure out like how they're gonna regulate this thing because it's not a security. So when it actually pumped at this point, it's because Ripple actually won the lawsuit. Now it's looking very, very bright for Ripple. And so also if you go to I think I don't know the website's name, but currency it's about all the cryptocurrencies in the world. If you look at the top cryptocurrencies in the world, Ripple is 4th, and it's one of the, and it might, I mean, it's not even $1, you know. So if you guys also want to look into, you know, buying some crypto and not trade
guys,
it.
So actually what Javon is saying is that the crypto market is not doing well, and if we can just send our prayers to all the crypto traders and actually try and pump the market a bit. So effectively what he's saying is he's in Ripple, he's facing some serious drawdown, and if we can just get everybody to start buying Ripple so it can go up, that is effectively what he's saying. But Javon, we'll send some prayers up. If you're in a cell group at church, let's just pray for all the crypto traders and pray for a crypto pump.
I see someone in the chat asked, do any of us trade fixed indices? I see Rika asked. I actually got banned from the Riv. Yeah, but we do trade volatility as well. Volatility is very nice space to trade.
Yeah, Vault Markets is gonna very soon launch their synthetics, and then we can have Javon also sharing some analysis on that. He got banned. He still does not want to tell us why he got banned, but let's leave it at that. We're not gonna expose him here on why he got banned from the Riv, but
because him and his friends were just killing the markets too much.
Yeah, they were absolutely spamming the Riv, and the Riv just had enough of that. So
anyone who's in on USDT, I would rather say break even at this point, and then rather price to see what happens either in New York session. But I would say my session ends here for now. No more trades currently at this point. Timing is out.
Did you take partials, Javon?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was a good trade. I wouldn't say I top ticked it or very close to. So I exited here. Let me just show you guys. So I almost top ticked it. Nice 40 points on USDT. Yeah, thank you for that. I think for the guys that took it, well done. USD JPY still locking it in potential longs. 80 starting to pump bullish. Next move I want to see is a retest of Asia lows. Want to see some kind of either like a double bottom or a bullish engulfing. I'm going to then execute that long to come and retest the Asia highs. Euro JPY, as mentioned, the round number. If you guys were paying attention earlier, round number as I marked out, this was that weekly breakout zone. There you had a nice liquidity grab, break off the lows, then a bullish flip to the upside. So either retest of this 158 level for longs or trading back into the Asia range for long positions. Gold, has gold moved yet? Let me just check gold quickly. I think gold is literally still in that range, still around the pivot. Let me just check gold quickly here for us. Gold still around the pivot. nothing as of yet for me. I would almost go out on a limb and say with the 80 going lower, yeah, let me not go out on a limb. DXY holding the daily pivot, so very likely potential push up. Gold could reverse late in the day closer to the Asia lows or above the Asia highs. For me personally, this entire Asia range is a no trade range. I will not try anything within this range. This for me is going to be very tricky trading inside this range, so I wouldn't touch it. If you want to make some plays within that range, feel free to do so. But I'm going to start locking it in on USD JPY, so let's see if we can come back to Asia lows and then execute some long positions. Just gonna update that 40 points on the buys. Thank you, Javen, for sharing that setup. We're giving him credit here. Javon Shaw. He has earned his right to be on the streams. Kigs, I think we should now actually get those gold caps, the gold cap members.
Yeah, I 100% think so.
And we can have a capping ceremony where we will cap Javen officially as the newest member of the Gold Cap Club.
Is he even on the Zoom still?
He is on the Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm also updating all my people quickly and also updating my track record because I don't want to fall behind with that.
Alright guys, lock it in. USD JPY, Asia lows. Retest, we are going long. That is the only other setup.
This is, I'm not trying to say anything, but I was actually looking at now for gold purposes, but your USD JPY sentimentally is 80% going short.
So that's just further fuel for the longs.
Prove them wrong. Prove the haters wrong.
So Euro JPY, if we can get back to the round number, or later on if we start ranging here above the Asia lows, I will look for the similar setup to USD JPY. USD JPY obviously looking much better, breaking structure to the upside, back in the Asia range. So just waiting, alerts have been set, waiting for that move back to Asia lows, then we're going to execute longs. Don't try and buy here guys, wait for that retest. You want to get it as close as possible to the Asia lows. Liam Bushney asking that BTC not crash because Tesla sold majority of theirs. I don't know, dude. I do not trade crypto. A while back I did an analysis on my IG for it, but for the most part I don't really trade crypto. So I'm not necessarily the guy to ask about any crypto related items.
I was looking at this here, trying to see what pictures you draw in here in your charts.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm manifesting a range here and then a breakout from the Asia lows on Euro JPY. And then I should actually manifest like a little bit of a pullback here on USD JPY for us to catch it off the Asia lows. Let's see, there's still some time.
I do think you'll get it because, I mean, if, for example, what we're looking at for gold today, then you'll get that pullback.
Yeah, DXY is struggling here at the Asia highs. So I think once the bulls finally do give up on the Asia highs, we can tank lower, but let's see.
Funny enough, I was thinking about that the other day when I was going back over some of my journaling and stuff. I don't know why, but I always favor the bulls more than the bears.
On gold?
Or in general. Like, I don't know if it's just because of a positive thing, but like...
Same for me.
I prefer going long than short.
It's like the setup suits your eye better. It's almost like in golf. Like there's certain holes you play that just suits your eye in terms of how the hole is laid out. So for me as well, I think it comes back to the psychological aspect of when you're buying stocks. You obviously want it to go up. So from when we were little, the idea of something going up suits us a lot better than going down. So for the most part, it's difficult for me as well to sell. Like, even if it's a currency pair, like I usually do not perform well with sells.
I think it's a mental thing, like it really is a psychological side. Like, I don't like seeing the market drop. I want it to just go up.
How's everyone doing Friday? How's the trading week been? Are you guys still in the game? If you're still in the game, great. If it was a bad week for you, keep your chin up. Next week is another week. Take it easy over the weekend, refine, go back on your trades, and give yourself some time. Do not pressure yourself in trying to reach a goal where somebody else is in their journey. Like, ultimately it's you, yourself, and the charts, and you are daily fighting against yourself in the markets. You're not fighting the market, you're fighting your own urges, your own personality, your own situation. So keep your chin up. I'm literally rooting for every trader. This is most probably one of the hardest professions in the world, due to the fact that there's not necessarily a 100% right or wrong. If you're a doctor, there's a right way of doing it. If you're an engineer, there's a right way of doing it. If you're a lawyer, but when it comes to trading, you can spend 8 years in the market and still not make it. So therefore, 100% rooting for all of you guys, and let's make it happen.
Great question. What's people's thoughts on this new Involio app?
Involio?
Yeah, it's basically like a social media platform that they've made, but it's purely for traders.
Involio. Verified.
So I mean, it's not your TikTok and Instagram. It's all about traders and I mean the markets and the charts and.
Dude, I never even knew about it. When did you check it out?
It came out, I think last 2 weeks, I'd say. But then since last week, all the guys have really been jumping on it.
Involio, yeah. Check it out, guys. I'll also check it out. Who's it backed by, though? Do you know who the owners or the founders are?
I don't know who the owners are, but the same thing, I know they've got Q and all of them on board for it. So FX, Alex G, Q Banks.
Okay.
Even that Derek we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
All these guys, they all on it as well now. And they're promoting it. So like I say, they're not the owners, but they all pumping it.
So it is US privately held. Let's check it. So it's actually venture capital backed. So there are guys backing it. So what I can see from it, they're almost going to do like a Uber Eats type of thing. So what I can see happening on Involio is it's going to be an online shop for signals, for information. So let's say, for instance, you've got a course and you've got a signal service. It's going to be like Uber Eats or Take a Lot. So you're going to come onto that app, and on that app, for instance, you'll have Keegan's service here, you'll have my service there, you'll have Javon, like whoever, and then you can actually subscribe through that app. So from what I can see, Keeks, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like an online shop for signals, for courses, which is actually quite smart, to be honest.
No, you can't just put in everything in one place.
Yeah. So they got about 1.4 mil in September last year on their second seed round, and then they had an angel investor on their first, which they haven't disclosed. So Ryan Pace and David Anderson. Ryan Pace, something to look into. Ryan Pace, let's see. He's the CEO, Ryan Pace. Let's quickly check if we can get some data on Ryan Pace. Don't stress, guys. Alerts have been set, so we're not going to miss any trades. Ryan Pace, Involio. Ryan Pace. So he's almost going to go with like some type of Wall Street bet vibe.
Well, I actually just downloaded it now. It's actually pretty interesting. So, for example, you have like when you come onto it, you got trending users. So let's just say, and you got the leaderboard. So your leaderboard, you've got scalp trades, forex, day trades, trending, and 100 million. And then you've got the guys obviously are leading it. And then you get gold badges to the guys that are performing the most. So let's just go trending users. You can go like Q Banks. You actually can see his portfolio. So his portfolio, you actually can see his open positions and closed positions in each thing. So for example, if he's linked it now in the open positions, you click on that. I can literally see the exact trade he is in at this time and where he's entered, and like closed trades I can see where it was, and then there is an option for them to allow the strategy for why they took those certain trades.
Yeah, this is something we'll look into, guys. Neil, thank you, man. Neil saying loving the stream, gents. Really appreciate it. But yeah, we'll definitely look into that. I think it's a very good concept. Very, very good concept.
Yeah, so just again, this other guy who's one of the leading guys in the app right now. Yeah, he's closed position. So, for example, it will tell me what he bought on, that he went, the direction was long. The price, it tells me the exact amount he closed out at, the entry, and it tells me exactly how long he held the trade.
Ask Mo to quickly bring my phone there. I think he still has my phone. I also want to download it and check it out. Did it bring it back? I don't see it though.
Now he's bringing it now.
Do you guys trade between sessions like after 11 to 2? No, that is your dead zone. If you're trading between that period, like I mentioned yesterday to Laz, we also had a chat and I said that is not where you want to be trading. There are times when price can move during that time, but for the most part, no. Okay, DXY breaking session highs. Holding Asia highs, so let's see. Gold most probably going to tank from the pivot. Still bearish. I wouldn't touch it in this range as mentioned. USD JPY most probably just going to pump from here due to that fact we're not getting the pullback. Euro JPY holding Asia lows. Interesting. 13 minutes for the 4-hour close. Let's just see how this 4 hour is going to close on EJ. It's going to close bearish. Massive bottom wick, very little top wick. Yeah, no. What I'll wait for is if this 4 hourly closes, we get a deeper pullback, maybe even to 158. I'm going to monitor it there. I've got alerts set there. Or even if it does not reach the round number, just pulls back here, and we then get a break of structure, I'll potentially consider longs. But the fact that our 4 hourly is not in line with what we want to do on the lower time frame makes it quite difficult. Even though this is a massive rejection, it's still closed bearish, and we still can get a wick fill where the next 4 hourly can come all the way down to retest these lows. So just be aware of that. That is the little nuances we need to consider. For the most part, like I mentioned, I'm going to try later on this afternoon for basically a reversal play on US 30. Gold, wait for the Asia range breakout. Also the 4 hourly gigs. Let's quickly look at the 4 hourly is going to close bearish. So very hard.
I must say, sorry, I'm actually literally looking at this app still there, and literally now 20 minutes ago, this Alex Scenarius posted how he's going USD JPY is in a counter trend on its daily time frame. Quite possible, so let's see how price reacts to its monthly support level at 145. So they actually put out decent information on this string. Yeah.
I'm downloading it now. I'm gonna check it out now.
Like, it's actually really cool. So I think to a lot of guys, like, obviously we'll talk more about it, but for the guys that want to, and I think even just learning and stuff like that, I definitely think you should check this out.
I'm downloading it now.
Because literally you have your homepage and you choose your thing. So crypto, stocks, forex, commodities, NFTs, real estate, anything. So obviously choose forex, and then all the stuff starts coming up.
Friday, guys. Only one trade as of yet. 40 points on Dow. Euro JPY, some solid analysis as mentioned. Not gonna execute this close to the 4-hour closing. A little bit of a deeper pullback, then maybe look at some longs. USD JPY similar. I think the 4-hour is actually going to close bullish. Yes, it is. Also, if you look left, nice support area, bullish engulfing on the 4-hourly. Could come all the way to the Asia highs. Therefore, if I can get a pullback now on the next 4-hourly, that's going to basically be in line with our weekly bias. And I definitely want to see it come back to the Asia lows or even this S1 level. I'm actually going to set an alert at 145.47, and we can potentially look for longs there. So 2 scenarios here for us. So wait for the 4-hour to close, wait for the pullback. We'll maybe extend the streams, I would say, by 15-20 minutes. Let's see if we can take a trade live with you guys. We already gave out one winning trade. DXY making session highs. That does not bode well for GBP USD, as mentioned as well. Still bearish, still a lot of bearish momentum at the weekly pivot. Again, I'll only consider buys above Asia lows. That's also the daily pivot, but for now we can come and retest the session lows and actually even break it. So do be careful on that.
Also just saying that gold is moving down again now, so we are slowly approaching that Asia low, so we can just keep an eye on that to start seeing some reaction.
Yeah, definitely. Again, as I mentioned, if we can get some buy divergence on the accumulation distribution close to the Asia lows, very, very high probability trade. Otherwise, we are going to flip bullish on the AD once we get above the Asia highs. DXY, looking on the daily, let's just jump back to that daily time frame. As mentioned, this could be an intermediate swing high. We've taken out Wednesday's high. We came back down. Weak bullish though, so negate the fact that we're still in a bullish trend. We've had 5 days of straight, actually 6 days, 5 days of straight upward momentum. And we can potentially close bearish today back inside the range. But if we break yesterday's high, I do believe we're going to pump up. But I'm going to go for a pullback on Friday. But let's see. Let's see. $158.12. Let's set the alert there, $158.12.
How did you split your screen like that?
Oh yeah, next to your yeah, the top right, and then you go select layout. Then you can split it there.
Hectic. I had no clue you could do that.
I don't think I can do 3. Yeah, that's the Pro Plus. I only have the Pro plan.
That is crazy.
I actually laughed. The one guy posted on Instagram and he said these guys that are come making millions and they're still on a free TradingView account with ads popping up. Selling courses and stuff, and there's ads popping up. They can't pay, what is it, like 400 Rand a month for a TradingView.
But you know, like, that's my thing. People always say those type of, like, go on about it, where I'm like, that whole thing of investing into yourself. I'll always talk about the importance of backtesting, and you can't tell me you backtesting and properly and efficiently if you don't have the TradingView Premium.
No, 100%. Like,
because I've heard so many stories where guys are like, no, I won't pay for it, but like I'll cover the screen and then I'll work and then move it and see. I'm like, Oaks, you can't do that. You saw what it was there before you covered it up. You already saw. Like, you need to be able to run it back. Like, I'd say run it back like a month. Don't even look at the market, just run it back. And then actually almost try to take it live in a sense. When you see a setup, pause it, then start acting out, pretend you enter the trade, and then let it run properly. But it's a thing, like, if you really want to take it seriously, I mean, I think the premium's, I think 200 Rand or something. If you really want to do it, you have to invest.
I think it's a little more. But they usually have some specials, like Black Friday specials. There's like, you can buy a year at a half price. I missed last year's one. TradingView subscription. But yeah, dude, it's like a tool you use. And any business, you've got software that you need to buy. You've got assets that you need to have in order to actually function as a business. So why not invest in a again, I say it's basically $13 a month. If you want to sell signals to somebody and you on a free plan, like, please. Sorry, no, the monthly is $15. What is that? $15 is like, mine went off the other day. I think it's 380 something with VAT added to it. USD to ZAR. $15. $280 with the VAT, then like, it's 340. I don't honestly see the view for like the Pro Plus to have like 10 indicators on your chart and like 4 charts in one layout. Like, my screen is not even big enough to handle 4 charts. It's only like a 27-inch screen. So I would say just the Pro, more than enough.
Sorry again, like, I actually think I'm talking a lot about this app now, but I'm playing around with it. I think as a trader, one thing this is going to do is this app makes you very transparent, because I was looking at it now. So when you enter a trade, you can't enter a closed trade already. So for example, I can't go enter, you look at all the great wins I had this week. You only can enter the trade as open. So as it's happening, you have to obviously put it in. And then it runs with you. And then it closes and it goes saved to your closed account, which you can't even delete yourself.
So if you
take a loss, you can't hide that loss.
I see, So I think it's going to put a lot of the scammers out of business. Unfortunately, guys, if you were scamming and selling cuck signals and you want to try and do that on Involio, you will get clapped, unfortunately.
I think what I'll do is, I think we'll put it in there. I'll put like my whole Involio profile on my social medias and stuff. So if people want to follow me, they can follow me on it. and I'll actually start posting my trades on there, so you guys really can keep up to every single trade that I'm doing, what the results are, and I think in a way that not only for you guys, it will be a good way to keep me accountable.
I will also link the what's the name account, the not prop fund account, fuck man, the podcast account.
Yeah.
And it's all for free, eh? Or is there?
Yeah, it's all free.
Hectic, bro.
So it's literally, the more I'm looking at it, it's literally a social media. I mean, I put up my first post now, and you, like I say, you just declare what area you are targeting. So for me, it was Forex, and already people are interacting, and because it gets put out on the Forex page. So it's like a discover page on Instagram and all that. It's all out there now. And if people think that's interesting, they go click on you, and then all your history of trades, strategies, all those things are out there for people.
Oh, so you physically have to, you can't link it with your account?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm literally still playing around with it.
Okay.
But I don't know if it can get physically linked. Maybe it can. I just don't know yet.
Oh, thanks, Geeks, for letting us know Involio, guys. We are not affiliated with Involio.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. We are not at all affiliated with them. But I do think it is a very smart app. It does look like Instagram, almost Twitter. I would say more like Twitter. Let's say Twitter and X, or X, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X, and Instagram went out for like dinner one night and they had a baby. And X was a trader and Instagram was a crypto trader. And they had a baby. They basically produced Involio.
That's so funny.
But yeah, dude, I think it's a great marketing tool, especially if you wanna, become a mentor or somebody that sells a trading service. I do think it's going to be a very good initiative to be very transparent with what you do. Alright guys, gonna wait, we're gonna stay in the streams, I would say, up until 11:15, 20 past. I just want to quickly say the next 3, 4, 5 minute candles on Euro JPY and USD JPY, and then we're gonna call it a day. Next week starting the funded challenge, so feel free to join for those as well. We're going to make it very transparent. We're going to start off with the challenge. I will only be taking trades during the live streams. I will not be taking trades outside of that for full transparency, win or lose. As mentioned, I respect all of the funded traders that are out there. It is not an easy task to trade within those rules and regulations. But I do think with funded companies changing the time frames or the time limits with no time limits, definitely gonna. Liam Bushney, in terms of EJ, I'm looking at 2 levels. I ideally want to see it like maybe 158.10 or even back to the 158, the round number. It's holding the round number, so I would now expect it to go to the next half round number at 50, which is also the Asia eyes. The only thing is entering here almost 20 pips above the round number makes it a little bit more risky because my stops on JPY crosses are only 20 pips, so the closer I can get it to that round number, the better. Also this morning when I mentioned that we are looking for longs, one of my rules are that the 80 needs to be above the 200. So while we were at this round number, and even though we held it, my rules state that I can't enter. And even though you can say it's a break of structure, this and that, why do I have rules if I don't follow them? So it has worked well for me, so I'm not going to change that. And even if that thing runs 300 pips, it's not going to phase me. I've got my playbook, I've got my rule set, and I stick to it. So that would be the level. Same with USD JPY. Either this S1 level, which is a support pivot, or back to Asia lows if we get that. So we could potentially top out here. We could start pulling back for NYSE, where it could be a grind back lower. But I would ultimately continue looking for buys to come and then retest these session highs. But let's see. Nothing as of yet for me. And then we had the US 30 bars. Alright guys, we're gonna call it a stream here. I really appreciate everyone joining in. I will see you guys next week. Trade safe. Don't fuck up your week on a Friday. If you've had a good week, call it a week. Go enjoy your weekend. Come back refreshed next week. And please do leave a like, leave a comment as well if you enjoyed the streams. All of that helps with the algorithm. We obviously want to get a bigger reach, and yeah, I really enjoy sharing. I think Keegan as well, and Javon's first day on the stream, he was a little bit shy. He said he's not really the most photogenic gent out there, but I told him it's more about what you know. It's not about how photogenic you are. So he also said he's going to start growing back some hair for the streams, so he's not going to cut off all his hair again. So
I'm gonna grow one of those majestic mullets.
No, that's not a mullet, it's a Malay. It's a Malay. But really appreciate it, guys. See you all next week. Trade safe, and follow us on IG Monday to Friday 8:30 till 11, and we will see you guys next week. Peace and love. Cheers.
I will see you guys then.